This is the Carolina Panthers. We do know that 2 of the last 3 seasons, this is a team that has finished with the worst record in the National Football League. But look, a win is a win is a win. This is a team that also shut out, shut out the Atlanta Falcons, a week before. So you have to keep that in mind. And AB, as I said to you, for me looking forward, a lot of this is how do you take this and how do you build upon it and how do you show some consistency. But before we go to the needs improvement section of the report card, let's give out some gold stars, if you will. So who are your A's of the game this week? Lead us off.
Love giving out some gold stars, Jade. I think my first A of the game would have to just be this running back room, right? This was a game that we were all thinking, how are they going to show up? No turnovers, 100% ball security, drastically improving from last week, and really put out the fire that was against the Steelers. And I think in times when you have to show up, that's what this running back group did. Henderson with his first touchdown, that was an awesome moment. Gibson, and we really saw this group be a true committee. Right? Like we really did see a presence from all of them. Yes, Ramondre still led the way, but you did see a heavier presence from Travion and Antonio Gibson. And I think the cool part about that specifically is that Ramondre was still a major factor in this game. And when adversity strikes, some teams choose to handle it differently. The Patriots leaned into Ramondre and they were like, no, we need you. We value you. You're still starting for this team. And so I think just to see how well they ran the ball effectively as a group and just the cohesion that they have and encouraging each other. I think it was maybe Ramondre who said, there's no ego in this group, but we're all have healthy competition. It's really cool to see. So got to give it to the running back group for this week.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Gold star from me as well there. And I thought, you saw Ramondre like rip off that 22-yard run. And I just thought like, yes, like confidence builder. So good, to see that for him. And he did lead the way. I was looking at the numbers in terms of carries, for the backs. And we all had so much emphasis on this, of course, going into the game because of the way it went against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was so curious to see how they would divvy up the carries. And he had 9 for 38 yards. Travion had 7 for 32 yards in the touchdown. And then Antonio Gibson 6 for 27 in the touchdown as well. So it really was, spread the wealth in terms of how they were going to approach this. I thought it was really, all in all, it was such a positive day for this group. I think not just finding the end zone, but obviously first and foremost with the ball security. I think, gold star all around. I think with the way it was handled going into the game and then, the way it was executed during the course of the game. So we're certainly in agreement there. I fear we might be in agreement on a couple of these, but let's go for the next A goes to whom?
Yeah, this is an A plus 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 plus, whatever you want to give him. Marcus Jones, just the momentum shift and the game changer for this game. The punt touchdown return. And like I said earlier in the show, he had another return that was only 19 yards, and we were kind of all like, oh, that was it. Like, really, he could have taken the second one back too. Right. And so I think just stepping up for this team, and you heard Vrabel say, like, really, yes, it was the guys who were blocking for them. And, we're working as a special teams unit. That's what we were taught, hoping to do this season. But he had that will. Like, it was that individual will. So I got to give it to him because you got to come out. I mean, it looked like he was down early on in that initial play, in that touchdown return. And so I think you just look at the Patriots and what they're able to do and win when they have special teams plays like that. Got to give it to Marcus Jones. Breaking records, too, for the Patriots. Awesome day for him.
Yeah. I saw earlier today that their linebacker, Jack Gibbons, who's on that punt return unit, said of Marcus, like, he's slippery, right? And he said he was surrounded, but the reality is, like, they're all having fun blocking a guy like him who's like, I'm a little ruthless back there, or a little fearless, to use the word that Vrabel used. And I do think that those are the moments that a team can build off of. And those are the personalities, right? That guys want to play for, that they want to like throw it all on the line for and say, what's he going to bring? Like, what's he going to do? And I think we saw that repeatedly yesterday. I mean, you don't rack up 167 yards as a punt returner in just any game in this league. It is hard to do. And it's a distinct advantage for the Patriots if they can get him going and have special teams continue to be a place that they can take advantage of other teams. And I think they're going to find other ways to do this, right? I mean, we saw Travion Henderson in the preseason, of course, with the run back. So there's different ways that I think this team is going to build upon this and use it to their advantage going up against some other teams. So definitely gold star for Marcus Jones from both of us here. Round out the A's for us here, would you, AB?
Yeah, I got to give it to our guy that was dripped out post game, Stefon Diggs. Just the big plays. Like, this is the game that we were waiting for from him. And I think it was really cool to see his connection with Drake Maye. The one play that he came back to the ball and kind of did one of those tiptoe, let the guy go. Like, almost could have had a touchdown too on that long
Yep.
explosive play. But first 100-yard game. And I think just for him, like you said earlier, like, weight off your shoulders. He's not presenting that obviously publicly. He's saying, I got to be better in certain ways. I think he even pointed out later in that press conference, there was a time when I didn't line up perfectly. Like, eating what's on my plate isn't just having catches downfield and kind of being the guy of the game. It's like all those little things. So I've been really impressed with his leadership for this team, his ability to be patient and not kind of have a drama moment like you might see some other wide receivers around the league having if the ball isn't coming to them. Like, he has really trusted this process and let Drake Maye do what he's being told. Hey, don't force it to him. Just pass it to the open guy. And I think that's what's going to lead to long-term success and allowing teams to maybe be preparing for a Kayshon Boutte, a Hunter Henry, and then opening up opportunities for Steph Diggs.
Yeah, no, 100%. Let's hear more of from Diggs with that, lovely post game drip that he was rocking.
5 out of 10. Take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, having success it's week to week. You know what I'm saying? It's been a slow ramp up or build up that I didn't even notice through these past 4 weeks. So coming out of the quarter of the season, the first quarter, 2-2 is not bad. Could it be better? Yes. So for me, I just take it with a grain of salt. Being comfortable is, I guess it's a state of mind because I still got to study. I still got to flip the pages. I still got to grind. So being comfortable in the offense is like, you making your coach comfortable. You making plays, you getting open, you showing that you know what to do on a consistent basis, and you making plays for your quarterback. I think it helps everybody out. So for me, I just say 5 out of 10 because you never want to get too comfortable.
Never want to get too comfortable. You got to keep putting the work in, flipping the pages, doing the study, as he says, watching the film, all those things. But look, I mean, I think I would also say that he's clearly a leader on this team. He was brought here to be a leader on this team. And when you go out there and you go into the 100+ territory, that makes your job easier. It just does. Like, because some of that leading you got to do with your play. You can't just stand there and talk in the locker room and not be the guy that delivers on the field. So I think, there's some relief there because he knows that he's here to be a leader. And he has to go out there and have games like that to really be the type of leader who he wants to be. And help Drake Maye grow into the quarterback that I think Steph Diggs believes he can be. So look, gold star there. I would also give one to the quarterback in Drake Maye. The game that he had, we've now seen him really string together some good consecutive games. And look, there was obviously some ball security issues against the Steelers, but he still was finding ways to move the ball down the field, and that was a positive for him. You look at some of his numbers yesterday, and we can throw this up and share it with you, but what he was able to accomplish, puts him in elite company here in New England. And of course, Tom Brady was a quarterback for a very long time here, but Drake, in doing what he did, 75+ completion percentage, thrown 2+ touchdown passes in each of the last 3 games. Only Brady did that with a longer such streak in a single season in NFL history. So, look, I mean, this guy's a kid, right? I mean, he's in his sophomore season. It's his first season under Josh McDaniels. And for him to start with that consistency and starting to see it for a couple weeks in a row, that's a gold star in my book, AB.
It really is. And you've heard Diggs, like you said, talk about the progression of his young quarterback. And Diggs has been around the league. He's played with some really talented quarterbacks. And so it's cool, I think, too, for Patriots ownership and front office to see, hey, we brought this, blue chip wide receiver in. He's coming off a major injury. And he already,
Yeah.
after having, a probably conservative game plan with him, has had a connection with our young quarterback, right? And so it's really great for the growth in the future of this organization.
All right, let's get to some needs improvement. I, this was one of those games where they did a lot well. So to me, part of that needs improvement requires looking forward, right? Because I did mention this is against the Carolina Panthers. It's not like you went out there and won, 42-13 against the Kansas City Chiefs, against the Philadelphia Eagles, against, oh yeah, that team that you're playing Sunday night on primetime, the Buffalo Bills, right? I mean, so I want to see the consistency, and that's probably like my biggest thing in the needs improvement category, AB, is I want to see them be able to string consistent games together, play turnover free football, play, let's take advantage of bad football, or let's just make sure that we're not beating ourselves because we're not playing good football. That tops my list on the needs improvement. And that's just a whole team approach, right? Like, how are you going to approach it, and then how are you going to go there and execute upon it?
Yeah, I think that's a smart way to look forward is what's the next step, right? Because it feels nitpicky to really point out the bad spots of this game because it was such a
Yeah.
dominant and controlled game by the Patriots. I think if you were to pick anything, you could, circle out that slow start for both the offense and the defense.
Same. Yeah.
But even Vrabel said, you know what? If it takes having a slower start on defense to figure out how to play the rest of the game, then like that's a trade off he was willing to take. Get through those growing pains is what he called it. And so I think as much as that's a need improvement, like really we're looking at the broader picture for the Patriots. I guess one thing that was kind of funny to me is I think it was on Marcus Jones touchdown return, punt return. Milton Williams took out, it was a little friendly fire, took out one of his own teammates. And initially I didn't know
I
who it was.
know.
Milton
He
Williams
was like
was asked about
down.
it. He was down. It was actually pretty bad. I had to go back and rewatch it a few times. I was like, please tell me that was not a Patriot player, right? But Milton Williams was asked about it after the game, and he had a funny response. Someone said, "Oh, that was Woodson or whatever," and he was like, "No, like I asked him," and he was like, "No, like it wasn't me. That is Woodson being a great teammate. You're just defending it. Don't worry about it, my guy. You're great teammate." In fact, it was his own Patriot teammate.
Yeah.
So maybe we just eliminate the friendly fire. You saw what happened in the Chiefs game with Travis Kelce, right? Like you don't want that situation to happen. Thankfully, there was no serious injury here, but kind of a funny moment because everyone's okay. You can look back and laugh at it. But really good that we're here on this Monday talking about what's next for the Patriots and not having to harp on 5 turnovers or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think if you look at what's next, it's significant that there are some winnable games on the schedule looking forward for the next 5 for the Patriots, right? I mean, you certainly have to go at Buffalo. That's a huge game. Obviously, it's prime time. Everybody's watching. What are you going to bring up to Buffalo? Tough place to play. 4-0 Bills team. But then look, you go to New Orleans. You go to Tennessee. You host Cleveland and you host Atlanta. So if I'm sitting there and you're not going to I know it's one game at a time, and that's the message, certainly internally. But look, there are some winnable football games coming the Patriots' way, through October. So stack the wins. Go out there and play sound, consistent football for 60 minutes. And I would put this team in there with a chance to go out there and really find ways to earn some W's.